Are you left-handed and always buying right-handed knives? If that's the case, YOBO Tool has you covered because they'll actually switch everything over, line lock, pocket clip, no additional cost, $69. How Splicer is working to build a community to allow for discussion of providing specifications you can relate to so you can have an educated decision on your purchases. If you're looking at these type of things and you like this type of review, hit that subscribe button as well. So this is the one from YOBO Tool. This is the brand means your outdoors best option. That might not be the case exactly, but they do have great options. Excellent people to work with. And then they're open to improvements and suggestions for improvements as well. So Reggie over at YOBO Tool, thank you very much for providing this knife here. So there's one that I met him over at Blade Show West, and then they were able to send some knives over. So I do appreciate them sharing. And also the biggest thing for this company, as I said in the first part of it, is you can get this knife in left-hand configuration. So that's not just switching the pocket clip over to the other side. The whole configuration can be switched over. So if you contact customer service, they actually will make you a left-hand orientation knife. So the liner lock is going to move onto this side. Pocket clip is going to move from this side to this side. So it will be truly a left-handed knife. There are very few options to be able to do that. I mean, you have some of the high-end knives that do those type of things, but for $69, you're going to actually have the option to have a left-handed knife. And then so even for a right-handed person, it's not a bad option for you either. This is a new brand, so you're not going to have some of the more refinements of some of the other ones. So in looking at things like the Aquila from Civivi, this is one that is the same steel as far as VG10, but there is some differences as far as a fit and finish. It still has great options for it. This one has a titanium pocket clip. This one has a stainless steel pocket clip that does need some refinement. So even if they do stick with this pocket clip, it actually does match into the sweep of the knife. It just needs to be finished off because if you do open this left-handed, this has a sharp spot right on the corner that digs into your palm. So this just needs to be kind of worked out as far as a little bit more finish to it. So another knife that kind of runs this way is going to be a Bestech. Bestech has that same type of clip, but it's just more polished off, so there's no sharp spots to it, very rounded clip for it, so it's not going to be very uncomfortable if you actually do use it in that fashion. So for this one, we do have some other things coming up. So steel testing, we have another batch that came back. Some good things, bad things, nothing that's horrible, but we'll check that out as well. And then we also do have the blind review. So blind knife review is something that we're doing. So there's a few channels that got involved in it. Last two channels are recording now. So then we're going to be having that release as far as a premiere for everybody at the same time. So we're doing a review. Can't see the knife. You guys will be able to see what it is. Some people got a little bit, there's been, I think, two slight incidences, a cut, one got poked. I almost cut myself, but that's things coming up for that. So for carry options for this knife here, this is going to be a right hand knife for it. So right hand tip up as far as that orientation for this knife, and we'll look at the hand sizing for it as well. So that's going to be for adult male hand across and also at an angle, and then also adult female hand that's going to be across and also at an angle. So we already looked at the Aquila as far as size, but if you weren't paying attention to that one, as far as specific sizing, that's going to be the Aquila. We have the Rat 2, another one that is a really good flipper. It's going to be the Kaiser Dukes. Then we have the Delica, full-size Griptilian, that best tech that I was talking about, just because it's popular right now. We have the Kershaw, and then we have another YOBO tool, which is a silverback. So one thing I'm going to do now for this, since they did send these knives along, if you like these knives, in support of that, they sent these to me. So if you're interested in picking up one of their knives, go to Amazon, pick it up. I don't have any affiliate with them, don't have any type of thing to gain from you buying the knife. And then if you do that and you leave the comment down below as far as you order a knife, I'm going to look at that, and then if you are doing that, then you can be kind of put into a grouping where I'll just do a buy one get one free. So you order a knife, you're entered into be having a possibility to get another knife absolutely free. So check it out. If it's one that you like, they have 3 different models, and then you can just do that. So since these are provided to me at no cost, then I'm going to provide it to you at no cost as well. So order one of the knives, and then you can possibly get one for yourself. So you can have the one you ordered and then have one of these as well. So check that out. So for this one, VG10, we're going to be using a different steel chart from Creely Knives or CreelyBlades.com. It's very extensive as far as the information you get. A lot of the information from even the steel manufacturers, some other experiences that folks have had. Previously I was using the one from Knife Informer, which is still a very good one if you want to look at that in the description, but I'll include the one for Creely Blades down below as well. So for this one, we're going to look at a few different options for it. So edge retention for this one, as you see on the chart, there is a lot of change that happened with steel. I'm not a metallurgist by any means, so there's going to be people that can speak to this a whole lot better. But as far as something that you can see in front of you, VG10 is very, very low in comparison to the best out there as far as edge retention. So that's where you're going to have maybe, is at the maybe 5% mark for that actual edge retention. So that's not saying it's a bad thing. So if you have VG10, if you have HCR13, all those can be fine. I mean, just resharpen it a little bit more, but some of the other ones as far as edge retention are just ridiculous. So, I mean, you look at the chart here, so that's going to be edge retention, maybe that 5% mark. And we're going to have corrosion resistance. So maybe that's, for VG10, that's actually very high. So you go from a very low edge retention to a very high corrosion resistance. So maybe the 75th percentile for that. And then you're going to have the last one as far as the toughness. So toughness is different than hardness. So we'll go into Rockwell Hardness later, but toughness is basically the steel's ability to take an impact for it without chipping and everything else like that. So that way you have a rolled edge more than a chipped edge as far as hardness. So that one is toughness. So toughness of VG10 is probably about that 50% mark. So even though the first part, in comparison across the broad scale of things, is really low, it's actually not a bad steel for it, for VG10. Everybody has their preferences, but you're not going to go wrong with the steel here. So for this one, actually, so we'll go into the PMI. So the positive material identification. This is VG10, so it's been tested. It is correct. VG10 is what they state on the blade. That's actually right up here. And then VG10 is correct. So that's actually a good thing for a new brand to be a reputable source for that. And then also for their Rockwell Hardness, so they advertise a 60 to 61. This one came back at a 58.8, so a little bit lower than what they advertised, but by a hair, and I think that's still within specification for that. For the pull weight, we're going to have the Lyman pull gauge that we use for this. For the pull gauge is just to get that weight as far as how much pressure it actually takes to actually actuate the blade. So normally it's about a 2 to 3 pound weight, which is a fairly comfortable and enjoyable level. for a pull. So we'll kind of see where this one comes out to be as well. So it's a little on the higher scale. So it's a little bit over that 3 pound. So 312 for that pull. But the one thing about this one, it has a very, very large flipper tab. So it's actually still comfortable for that. So even though normally it's about a 2 to 3 pound, which is a good level, this one's flipper tab is the sense that it actually is very comfortable. It's kind of like the Duke's as far as maybe the flipper tab. It's actually a little bit bigger than the Duke's flipper tab as well. So that's nothing with that. And the sound of it, if you can hear that, it just sounds amazing for that sound. So even compared to, again, we'll go back to the Creely because it's the same price roughly. A Creely comes at $68. So it's just very muted in the sound of the Creely. I mean, even if I really use a wrist for it, it doesn't have the same sound as this. It has a very distinct snap to it. So that's a very enjoyable thing for that. So for the weight on this one, 4.3 ounces is what I got, 123 grams, compared to 4.63 is what they state this at. So it actually came out in a little bit less than the companies have been stating for it. It does only have one deployment option, which is the light switch. And then we'll also look in the knife roll to see how this is going to be in your pocket as well. So for this one, the photo for it is actually about 3.5 for the blade length is what they listed at. For the full length of the blade, I got 3.75, and then the handle they listed 4.5. I got 4.76. So there's a little bit of a change or a deviation from that as far as what they list for it. A sharpness for it, this one came in at a high-end cutlery, so about 268 as far as that sharpness test. And then for pricing, so $69, Amazon only for this. That's kind of where they're pushing a lot of their sales to. They were doing they started again Kickstarter as far as where they started with this knife, the Aurora, and then they went from their sales on their website to sales through Amazon, and still free shipping for continental United States or contiguous, well, I guess all United States. So Amazon Prime, actually you don't need Amazon Prime, either way. So you can get it $69. And then also, if you do want to get it left-handed, again, that's where you're going to contact customer service. So do not just order the one off Amazon, because that will come in a right-hand configuration and not left-handed. So you have to contact YOBO Tool. They'll get you set up with that, and then they'll give you a left-handed orientation knife, completely, truly left-handed, and not just a clip. So that's the rundown of that one. Again, thank you to YOBO Tool for providing the knife. Let me know as far as the comments down below as far as what you think. And then also, let me also know what you think about the steel chart that's used from the Knife Informer to the Creely blades steel chart. And thanks again for your time.